My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to a special Dallas Cowboys, the Star in Frisco, everything's bigger in Texas edition of Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Other people want to make friends. I'm just trying to make you some money. My job, not just to entertain, but to educate and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. How about them Cowboys? Okay, not a conventional start to the biggest week of earnings season, but it works for me, and I want to make it work for you. Today, we got a warm-up to what the rest of the week looks like. A lot of guesswork, a lot of thumb-sucking, and very little confidence that companies will actually make the numbers. In the end, the Dow finished up 66 points, S&P advanced 0.09%, NASDAQ declined 0.29%, although, as has been the case for weeks, the market was substantially lower midday, with the NASDAQ especially ugly. One of the reasons earnings season is so darn difficult is that companies themselves often speak only in positives. And if things go wrong, what do? They tend to blame the environment or the Fed or whatever villain they can make up that makes them feel like undeserved victims with stocks you should buy. But if I were a company CEO reporting this week, perhaps I'd take my cue from none other than Jerry Jones, the man who owns the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, and has made them an institution, the most profitable team in America, and indeed, perhaps the world. The qualities I heard from him today: humility, ambition, loving the headwinds, embracing the headwinds, are what you need to see from the CEOs of the companies you invest in. And I mean need, because if you don't believe in management, you shouldn't own the darn stock in the first place. Sure, we can talk about the Cowboys as a team, although I am a Philadelphia Eagle season ticket holder. But to me, they're a corporation, a private juggernaut born on the back of oil and gas. Coincidentally, by the way, the strongest sector in today's market. You can't own a piece of the Cowboys, as much as I would actually like to. Mr. Jones owns it all. But you can own a piece of his natural gas company, Comstock Resources, which he regards as the secretariat of his empire. And an empire sure is. Built on a value he saw in an operation, the Cowboys, that when he bought them, was losing $1 million a month, and he paid a seemingly sky-high price that, in retrospect, looks like a pittance. Jones has a passion for football that's only rivaled by his belief in natural gas and what it might mean for the future of our country. He is a big thinker who doesn't worry about whether we're not in a recession. He's not obsessed by the Fed, by quarter points. Quarter points mean nothing to this man. He makes his own breaks, and that may be the perfect jumping-off point to talk about how much I learned from him today about business and how you can apply it to stock picking. Especially in a week where, oh, man, you need to make so many decisions about whether to buy, hold, or sell iconic American franchises, which, by the way, really aren't that much different from the Cowboys in some cases, especially given that the NFL draft takes place at the end of the week and you're bringing in fresh talent. First, do you see a future for your company that others don't see yet? Oh, God, I was in a helicopter with him for an hour. He sees things we can't. This concept brought Jones to the idea that the Cowboys might be a platform. I know that's an overused term, but maybe a platform. There's so many plenty platforms out there, and the real ones are hard to spot, but he did very early on. Let me give a classic example of what we can do, though. Did you see NVIDIA, for instance, as the platform for artificial intelligence, or do you see it as a gaming chip company? If you saw it as the latter, well, you were playing the short game. It was a long game based on AI. This is a week where you want the long game, meaning you can't let yourself be shaken out by short-term concerns. And Jerry Jones helped me with that. Jones would have blown out of the Cowboys billions of dollars ago had he just looked at the P&L short-term. And that first year, well, he could have figured it was a doomed enterprise. Ask yourself ahead of earnings, do you have one foot out the door already? Because neither you nor management sees anything but short-term results and troubles. I can't stress this enough, because there will be stocks like Microsoft or an Alphabet or maybe even Meta platforms, all of which report this week, and they have disappointed before, could do it again. Can you steel yourself? Can you take it? Right now, only Meta's Mark Zuckerberg seems to be doing the right thing. He's cut out what's hurting Meta, given them the money, the cap space, if you will, to reinvent and double down on what's working. As for Alphabet, I know it is hard to see the value right now. You have to see the value that they don't in order to keep believing in this one through the earnings. I find it tough. I admit to that. Microsoft almost seems too easy. But remember, you aren't owning it for the present. You are owning that stock because its embrace of artificial intelligence might allow them to save their languishing search engine, Bing, and make it genuinely competitive versus Google. I think they can do it, but you won't see it this quarter. Second, does your team embrace the headwinds or does it fear them? Part of Jones's outstanding success is not worrying about a recession, not worrying about the Fed. These are just potential opportunities because he has a lot of business connected with the Cowboys. When the other owners wanted the status quo for teams, he saw opportunities to extend the franchise via promotion. And he owns promotion, like the facility behind me, all around me. These are all examples of making something out of almost nothing. Right now, he's a huge believer, by the way, in natural gas because it can spike from these incredibly low levels and become the worldwide fuel that is currently struggling to be. We need to hear that because, boy, is it a tough time to own natural gas. So do the people running your companies address the recession as something that's going to be a horrible setback? I don't hear that. Have they used technology to triumph over the supply chain, freight, materials, labor issues, or do they simply accept their fate? Jerry Jones doesn't accept fate. He determines fate. That's the right attitude for a CEO. It's an investable attitude. Now you got to ask, can your management make the tough decisions that are needed? Today I heard Mr. Jones talk about the need to let people go whom he respects, whom he likes. Well, these are players who won for them. But he said they got too expensive to stay on. I wish that most CEOs would do the same. So far this week, only Mark Zuckerberg from Meta has the candor and the toughness to do what's necessary to save the institution, demonstrating a real need to win. I tire of CEOs who act like their teams don't even need to perform this quarter. The Cowboys need to perform every week with a passion I rarely see from business executives. And unlike a football team, those executives are playing with your money. So one thing you must know, does your management ever admit to a mistake? Or is everything perfect? Is everything tolerable? And there's no need to accept an error and pivot. Yes, you overhired badly during COVID. No, you didn't need to spend all that money. If you didn't see ChatGPT coming or underspend on technology, just own it. The shareholders will find out eventually anyway. So the draft does start Thursday, and we can learn a lot about how to value companies by looking at the way an owner like Jones, who also serves as general manager, evaluates young talent. Can you imagine if every CEO talked about what's in the pipe, gave us a glimpse of the future and who's leading the way? That would mean that there'd be pressure on the others who weren't mentioned. But I like a management that can talk about where things are headed. And listen, if you think it's taking sports a bit too far, the way I'm analogizing here, you're wrong. You know, I got my start as a sports writer, covering Florida State, it was then called the Tangerine Bowl. I learned plenty about the business of college ball, and it certainly applies to what I see in the market today. So I'm telling you, learning from the pros is much more important. Bottom line, if you don't think you can learn about how to manage a business for shareholders, then you should see how Jerry Jones manages a business, the business of the Dallas Cowboys and all its accoutrements for the fans. His methods can help get you through earnings season with some temerity and some humility. It's a great combination for winning on the gridiron and in your portfolio. Let's take some calls. Let's go to Karen in Florida. Karen.
Hey there, Jim. Thanks for taking my call. My question tonight is on Lyft. It's been down in the doldrums, but it looks like it's getting a new CEO, bringing somebody over from Amazon. Do you think I should hold it and let it turn around, or what are your thoughts?
Okay, John Risher is a tough guy. John David Risher. And I'll tell you something about him. The first thing he did was announce big layoffs. And that is directly about what I'm talking about. This man came in and he is bitten the bullet. And that makes me inclined to think that maybe he's got something that can work. But let's do 2 quarters before we say it. All right, you have to stay tuned for my exclusive with Jerry Jones, the businessman, and learn something about managing a business for shareholders. His methods can help get you through earnings season with some temerity and some humility. You need both to get through this week on a very special Texas edition of Mad Money. With the energy sector leading the market today, I'm going to sit down with another person who knows natural gas and oil, the CEO of Coterra, to drill down into space. Then my exclusive with Southwest Airlines. Hey, the stock has hit another round of turbulence, but we're going to find out how the company is really positioning itself for the long term. And how about those Cowboys? The legendary Jerry Jones talks to me about leadership, legacy, and football when Mad Money from the Lone Star State continues. So stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.